Hello everybody, welcome to Technique Tuesday. Today we're going to be making this faux shutter card. It looks like it has a shutter that's opening, only it isn't. And it's absolutely deliciously easy to make. So without further ado, I will get started. What it needs is a piece of basic black cardstock. It's 8.5 by 5.5. Scored at 4 1/4. That's our pretty standard size, so it fits into an ordinary envelope. There is a piece of basic white, which is the 1/4 inch smaller, so it's 5 1/4 by 4. And likewise with the bubble bath pink, it's 5 1/4 by 4. I then cut out a, you see the stitched square using the Stylish Shapes. It's this one, it's kind of the middle one. There's two bigger than it and two smaller than it. And it's just a hair under 2 inches. So I cut a straight edged piece of basic white, which is 1 3/4, and if truth be told, it's the smidgiest smidge under 1 3/4 too, but you know, you can gauge that on your paper cutter and it just fits inside and makes a nice layered size. So this is how we go about getting the faux-ness of it. Actually, you know what, let me just go ahead and put the white inside the black, because of course if it's a black card base, unless you're using a white gel pen, I guess there's no way you can see anything that's written inside. So we'll just add that as somewhere to put your inside greeting and sign it to the person you're sending the card to. And this is the front. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to line it up on my grid paper just so I can sort of eyeball where halfway is. And I'm going to put some rolling adhesive on the back, and just so I can see, you can measure it if you want to, but I'm just sort of eyeballing it so I can see this line comes down and goes pretty straight through, and attach that on the front. And then what we need to do is attach all the black pieces of what effectively is the shutter. And I brought in my silicone mat because when I put the sticky on, I don't want it to overhang and make my work surface all sticky. So we'll pick the first edge that we're going to do and just butt it up and line it level with the edge. And then it can keep going and hang off, and then trim that. And then we're going to put some more sticky on. And then we're going to butt this edge up against this one and also down the edge of the square that's on the front, and just keep going. So you can see kind of where the shutter part is coming into play. And then I've got another piece. And the great thing about these pieces is I'm always making smaller layers in the black just because it's a nice dramatic color. So I've always got these extra pieces. So we'll put that one up, and this one is going to go all the way down to the bottom edge. I can actually hear it sort of being sticky ticky. And then last but not least, we'll put the last little piece on, and it will butt up against there and go all the way through and off the edge. So we've now got all the 4 shutter pieces. And then I'm going to just trim them off, and I just find it's easier to do that on the back because I can see exactly where they are. Oops, that's got a little bit of sticky on it, I guess. It doesn't want to let go of my snips. And there we go, I'll just get rid of all those little sticky pieces. And there you have it. There is actually the shutter part of the card. And then what I'm going to do is bring in the little 1 3/4 square that we did and stamp it. And I'm going to be using the Darling Detail stamp, and I'm going to use this little half of a flower. But again, it's going to be using that stamp off to get the 2-step stamping using one ink color. And this is the Bubble Bath Pink, which is the color that coordinates with the cardstock. So remembering that we want it to be on the diagonal, we'll get the base piece. I'm going to bring in a little piece of paper just to stamp off on. So we'll stamp off and then stamp it on, just a lighter refrain of the ink color, and then we'll come back with the overlay piece, the second step, and when we stamp that it will be full strength, so you can see there's a difference in the two colors. And then because we've got this lovely black background, I'm actually going to bring in the Memento ink, and I'm going to stamp, thank you. Oops, make sure it's plenty inked up, and pop it in there. So that's the overlay part done. I think I added dimensionals here. No, I didn't. I put this piece in first. And then after I'd done this, I decided that it might look a little bit better if there was an extra layered piece. So what I did was I did exactly the same. I stamped this again, and then I ran it through the die cutting machine with the dies that match the darling detail. So it was basically, it was this die. I cut it through, and then I used the light berry burst alcohol marker and just added some wee little dots just to give it a little bit of depth and character. And then this is when I brought in the dimensionals. So we pop one on the outside edges and one on this taller leaf. And then even though this is stamped on here, it's almost like a bit of decoupage really. I'm going to pop that one on the top, so it just has a little bit of extra character. And then last but not least, I'm going to use the rolling adhesive and stick it to the front of the card. Oops. Moving the border around, and there you have it. Voila, two cards the same, with a little bit of extra dimension with the extra one. You don't have to do that if you didn't want to put an extra layer on. I just thought it gave it a little bit of extra. If you like what you've seen, please consider subscribing. Like goes down well. If you want to share me, I'll be absolutely honored to share you. As this goes out into YouTube land, it's a very short time before the Stampin' Up! Holiday mini catalogue is released on September 6th. If you don't have a catalogue and you would like one, you can message me on my website, or my email address is below. Just reach out to me and I'll be more than happy to send one to you. And last but not least, thanks so much for watching.